Welcome, reading one. As you see before you, I'm getting some Palo Santo ready because we are clearing the air. Let's clear the air. Let's go through the doorway of your past. What needs to be seen, what needs to be heard. That was on fire and hardly any smoke came off. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Don't walk away from it. You need to face it. Stop putting out the flame when it's coming for you. Sometimes you need to have a little bit of a smudgeroonie. In real time, we are in what I like to call Self-Care September. It is September 2nd, 2025. The interesting thing is, it's an 11 day. It's very interesting. Oh, when I looked down, it was 111. Okay, so let's get to what's going on, because it's interesting. A lot of times when I start these readings, I'll get this very like blanket kind of like, what do you need to hear from spirit, or but this was like, I feel like I'll know, like at this point now, you guys, obviously know what they had me put, but I feel like each reading is going to be very different. So I'm just going to go with the flow of it. And since you're reading one, it's kind of like the intro. I asked if we wanted to do an intro. They said no. So maybe it's just for you to ease into it. What do you see when you look into this doorway? What do you see? I'm going to zoom in, but I want you to look at it too. And you can zoom in obviously with your camera, but what do you see back there? I almost feel like I can see the trees rustling. Can you hear the wind rustling here? Take some deep breaths. I know for some of you it's really fucking scary. You like leaving those skeletons in the closet. But what if it's not so scary? What if behind that door is freedom? I get the vibe like this is you're inside here. You know what I'm saying? Like you're inside here and this is the door to outside. And Spirit's saying nobody's holding you back. How many excuses? What stories are you telling yourself? What stories are other people telling you? What's the past life energy that's stopping you from walking through that door? Reading one. All right, so you received 2 cards. Communal living. I didn't see all the cards, but that one literally dropped out. This is so interesting because where I live has become a communal living situation, but did not start out as a communal living situation. And I was having an interesting conversation with my landlord about it today. So that's so interesting that this is coming out for you guys. So there must be something that's going on. Let's see. Do we have, I'm hearing pull the other card out. Okay. I feel like it's part of a puzzle. Oh, food and hunger. Ooh, this is a big one. Food and hunger. Some people have a really hard time taking care of themselves after they move out of their, family's home or whatever. Just because people get older does not mean that they grow up. So I'm feeling like you could possibly be in a situation where either 1 or 2 or more of the people in your living situation had this thing in common in a past life. I feel like if you're struggling to go towards a goal, but you're not sure what's holding you back, I feel like it's going to be different for each of you, right? Like your stories are going to be different. Your timelines are different. What years you lived in, what, dimensions you lived in, what planets, you know what I mean? So this is a big like awakening for the soul, even with myself. Like, I didn't even know I was going to do this reading, and I was just getting ready to eat. Like, my stomach was literally growling, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't eaten since, you know, last night. And it was like 2 p.m. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, I'm like, I felt like I was doing a reading. And long story short, but I'm feeling really hungry right now. And also I heard drink some water. So it could be that maybe some of you are living in a scarcity mentality, and or you are connected to someone who lives in a scarcity mentality. So wow, there's a lot of things that are coming through right now. I'm also hearing for some of you, where you live, you can make it better. You know, do what makes you happy, do what you love. Look at the reflection of the candles too, you guys. I don't know if you're noticing this, but it's like do 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 do. It almost looks like a constellation or something. Maybe the, oh, I'm like burning my hand. Maybe the Small Dipper. I don't know. I just, but I'm also, the cup is there, and the cup is making me think of like cups, you know, like in the tarot. That's interesting. The communal living, I feel like it's almost like you're living in a mass delusion of like where you're supposed to be. Sorry, I have a little cut on my hand, and I just kind of made it worse, so I putting it on the fire there. I want to hear what else Spirit has to say, so let me sit with them for a second. You sit with what you need, and I'm going to hear what they have to say. They're saying not all communal living is bad, right? Like, meaning like there are some communal living situations where the people in the situation really thrive, which is why, like, for years when I've been looking for places in the area that I wanted to live, because it's so sought after, you start to see a lot of the same things, and you're like, wow, that one didn't last long, or you're like, you know. And then I remember one time I'd said to somebody, I'm like, I don't think it, you know, maybe that place is blah blah blah. They're like, or they're like, did you ever think that, like, you know, maybe they're there to teach them something, you know, and they don't stay long because they can't hack it, or they can't, you know. So there's like all these ways that you can interpret this story. But I'm hearing communal living is not for everybody. And they're saying it doesn't have to be like a commune in your mind. It's like the same with magic, like wherever two or more gather. So it could even be that like you're meant to live alone, and you know, maybe your partner is meant to live alone. Like, you need to live alone. You need to live your own lives, because maybe it was out of a scarcity mentality with the food and hunger, that you were, you know, living, coexisting together. Also, I'm hearing, because when you think about it, you know, the cups are about emotions, you know, it's water. It's also connected to the moon energy. Let me see if they want, do we want to pull any more cards or pull any more decks out from anywhere? I'm feeling there could be something linked to one of the other piles, maybe one of the other readings. Yeah, so I feel like for some of you, is this it? Just this short and sweet? Okay, no, we're going to go deeper, but they're saying, just because it's interesting, it's like it's almost as if I can feel that there's a plethora of information to give you, but it's as if there's like in the medieval times, you know, right? Like where there's like a moat and there's like people trying to break through the gate. It's like this. I feel like there's like information that's trying to break through the gate, but they're like, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back. So I'm hearing for some of you, the bread is an issue too. Have you noticed like it's really gone viral that people are like making their own breads, and let's just be honest, if certain people, aka Taylor Swift, does something, a lot of people will do it, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like they're injecting like yeah, you can make your own food. Yeah, you can make, you know, like, yeah, I have money and I could pay somebody to do it, but I want to do it myself. Like, I want to make my own food. I want to make my own presents for, you know, my friends' kids. And I want, you know what I mean? It's like there's a humbleness that comes with that. And I think that's kind of what like heroes and superheroes and, you know, what we want our idols to be like. Especially for someone that I can tell you, I've met a lot of people that I wish I had never met them because I liked the image of them that I had in my head. Also, Spirit is drawing me to the Ankh, to Egyptian times. Like old Egypt, like really old Egypt. Like the Ankh is like it was like pulled up, like it was buried for a long time. So there could be something for some of you that you have some deep Egyptian roots. Ooh, I'm getting the chills from your ancestors during this shadow energy. It's the past life. It could be this life that you were in communal living, or the food and hunger. It could be, you know, previous lives. I mean, there's so many things happening right now. Even with myself and my partner, it literally changes hour by hour. One minute I'm packing up my shit, I'm moving out. The next minute I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be here and hold space while they do that, and I'm waiting for my thing. You know, it's like, and then I'm like, no, I'm being delusional. Then I go to this other thing. You know what I mean? And that's what the shadow does. That's what it's there to do. This eclipse season is there to ruffle our feathers. It's there to make us look at things. Like they wanted you to look out the door. You know, like, what are you hiding inside? Are you hiding yourself away from the world? I'm hearing fairy energy. Also, I just wanted to let out this big burp. So I feel like for some of you, like your diet is really poor right now, or like there's just something going on where like, I'm just hearing like funkified. I'm hearing from Spirit, like there's just something going on. There's either too much of a routine, but you think it's good, but it's not super good for you, or some of you need a routine, but you're not sure what. And so meditation, getting quiet, solitude, and you will be fine, okay? You're gonna be fine. Oh, and I looked up, it was 12/12 and then 12/13, which is my birthday. Oh, that's so interesting, because of course I'm having, you know, I'm going through this with you guys too. You know, a lot of the readers that I follow are single. And it's interesting because, you know, and the ones that are in relationships, I feel like we're going through like some really serious shit, right? Like, because we're mirroring things back to each other. So they're trying to get us to like really like take our time, you know, pull away, do the things we need to do, be quiet when we need to be quiet. And also I'm hearing for some of you, and don't let things fester. I'm hearing for some of you, it's like fester. Not only that, but when I set this up, and even the way they had me zoom in with the cards, it's as if they took away all the sparkle. They had me take away all the crystals that were like super sparkly. Interestingly, behind you is a rainbow calcite, and that really promotes creativity. Actually, I want you to research that on your own. I was just thinking about grabbing my crystal book, and they said no. Research rainbow calcite meaning and work with it. You don't have to have the stones, the crystals, the rocks. You don't have to have them to work with their energy, okay? Rainbow calcite meaning, spiritual meaning, however you want to look it up. That's really powerful. Also, the mushrooms wanted to come in, and these in particular, and so they're making me think of like autumn and fall. And I'm hearing, do the things you love with the people you love. And get back into the land of the living. They're like, we know what we said, because I feel like some of you are like, I thought you just said to spend time alone. They're like, yes, but like, it's okay to be among the living. For some of you, there's like this emptiness, this food and hunger. That's probably what it is. Because, you know, sometimes our dreams, it's like we can have a hunger for something that we want outside of ourselves. You know, these cards aren't just literal. In fact, make a wish right now. Make a wish. Close your eyes if you can, if it's safe, wherever you are listening to this. Take a few deep breaths. If the wish doesn't come to you, pause this until it does. Make a wish. This has been happening lately, where I don't even really have things open, and like the little fairy wish flowers will like fly in here. and I just saw one, and it felt like the end of something. So I feel like for a lot of you in reading one, you're at the end of something. You're about to embark on the precipice of something really fucking huge, really big, really big. Like I'm hearing like monstrous big, and some of it you're not going to like, and some of it you are. And they're saying, and the things that you don't like are the parts that need to change, are the parts that need to grow, are the parts that need to expand, so that your consciousness can expand, so that you can grow. And some of you, it's going to make a lot of sense, and some of you, it's not going to make any sense at all, but then it will make sense in time. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Also, I'm feeling like this wants to go out of the way. But I'm hearing like fall, autumn, like in real time, we are in that time, right? It's September 2nd. And actually, am I correct on that? Because 9 and 9 is 18, 19, 20. So it's a 2-day. It's not an 11. I was thinking of it as, because 9 and 9 is 18, which is 9. Oh no, I am right? And then 2, 10, 11. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, look at how that all came back around. I'm gonna ring some bells. 16, 18. And then I saw 16, 19. Those could be ages too for past life. The bells aren't always going to be pleasant. Sometimes they're there to wake you up. Also, I'm feeling this pang of hunger, like this drive. There's something inside of you that needs to come out. So work with the rainbow calcite, work with, I just heard work with your favorite spirit animal. In fact, when you go into your meditations, call upon your favorite spirit animal and ask them to show you what it is that you're not seeing beyond this reading. What else is connected to your each individual story? That makes a lot of sense, Spirit. Do we have any more messages for reading one? I heard hold on to your horses, because, you know, it's going to keep getting intense. So that's why they're really pushing for us. This isn't a fear bomb. This is an awareness of reminding you how powerful and how strong you are, but that you need that time alone to regain your composure, to regain your strength, to regain your quiet. Well, I just got the chills. And that inner connection to your true light. This shadow is here to shake you up. If you go down with the ship, it's like, then what the fuck were we placed here for? Is kind of the energy I'm getting from Spirit. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but seriously, you know, I've been getting the same vibe. But we do have to go down these rabbit holes. We get the info that we need, and then we pull ourselves out of it. Today, I was just like dancing when I could dance, and then I had to have some conversations that I didn't know how they'd go, but I was really grateful that they went well. I didn't put any fear around it, which was great. I was just like, I just said to Spirit, let me know when is the good time to have this conversation. And when it happened, it felt really good. And I was like, okay, this is what needed to happen. This is what needed to get talked about. Also, I just pulled my hair out of my bun, and I feel like for some of you, you're wound a little tight right now. Spirit says you're like waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're like holding your breath. And they said the only way to let go of that energy is to let go of that energy and go with the flow, and trust Spirit and trust in the divine timing right now. And trust that this has all been put together from the shadow and the light. They want it to look scary. It's meant to look scary from the outside and the inside. It's all meant to go through this. We're all meant to go through this. We're all meant to go through this, each one of us. We're all here on our own personal path. But you are not alone. Call on your angels to help you. Call on your guides to help you. They cannot intervene unless you say, you know what? I'm exhausted. Spirit, Creator, can you take this off my hands? I don't want to deal with this anymore. Can I take a breather? Because when the time comes, they'll know what you can handle again. And it's okay. You know, especially like when you're, when it's like nighttime and you're laying there, there's nowhere to be but go to sleep. So instead of letting the crazy little monkeys in your mind go quack, 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 and go crazy in there, instead think of it as your beautiful place of solitude and quiet. And if they don't go away, ask Spirit to take them away for you. The energies that are trying to cloud your mind, your judgment, and take you down paths, especially things that happen that you can't change, and things that you don't know if that's exactly how that's going to happen. You may think you know somebody, but trust me, I've been proven time and time again that you don't know what things are going to do or what's going to happen, but trust in the divine timing of it all. That's it. Those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information is in the description box if you'd like to work with me or reach out in any way in support and guidance of this channel. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Spirit loves you. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Okay, so we must have some Taylor Swift fans welcome reading too. Because like, as I was like looking at this, I heard doom, doom, doom. Are you ready for it? Also, when I was channeling and reading one, I keep my eyes closed a lot when I'm channeling. And so I didn't even notice until I went to hit play for you guys that it stopped at 20 minutes and 22 seconds. So that's so rad and so cool. And I was like a little blown away, if I'm being honest. You know, I love when Spirit does that. You know, you're reading too. It's like, but also if you add it together, it's the number 6. So that could mean something. You know, if something starts happening to me during readings, I'm like, oh, I have to say it. So my left back hamstring is feeling like out of nowhere, just like feeling really tight. And my whole body's feeling like a little off right now. So I'm getting the message from Spirit that it's good for you to do yoga, qigong, walking, but like a nice walk. You don't have to do brisk walking. I feel like for some of you, like maybe when you were younger, you were like a speed walker and now your body just doesn't, and younger can mean anything. So I'm not even going to insert numbers here, but that's what I'm hearing from your spirit guides. Also, my eyes are drawn to this shell. So I feel like for some of you, you really thrive in salt water. In fact, I almost feel like I want to cover up this mushroom and take it out of there. I feel like you really thrive in salt water energy specifically, because I mean, I could have brought anything else in. There's a rock there that's, you know, most likely I got near water. But you know, I could have got it on a trail too, but you know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's definitely some connection there for you. Also, they had me bring in the crystal ball for this one. I'm feeling scrying energy, so maybe you're already looking around at the different crystals and shells and rocks, and there's behind the shell is graphite and labradorite, and there's also a rainbow calcite. And if you're really drawn to the rainbow calcite behind the cards, you may be drawn to reading one for any reason, but you know, don't make something your story if it's not your story. Do you have any, oh, Grandma Rose is here. Okay, do we have any channeled messages from any crossed over? Oh my gosh, there's some people who are kind of like, almost like, it almost feels like an elbowing energy, but it's because I feel like somebody here just lost somebody. I feel like somebody just crossed over in your family. And she's really funny and she's really feisty. I feel like I feel like she wore wigs. She has black hair, and I'm seeing like a purple house coat, like a zip up one, you know, that kind of thing. Like I feel like she wore house coats, and I'm even getting to she feels very lean. I don't know if tall so much, but just lean, you know, small, like long feet though, like skinny feet. And I feel like she wore slippers that are like a sandal but made out of a slipper, you know, like her toes go through. It's not an enclosed slipper. So I don't know if that's a message for anybody. I feel like a wink wink from her. And I feel like she's like, I'm okay, baby. She's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. So if there's anything that's further on that, if Spirit calls me to, maybe our energies will be drawn to each other to have you come to Sacred Sunday. I'm doing Sacred Sunday every Sunday live at noon Pacific Standard Time on this channel. So we are here to channel messages from the ancestors, crossed over loved ones. We also do card readings. And if you haven't watched episode 17, in real time today is September 2nd, 2025. But so it's a Tuesday, but a few days ago on the last Sacred Sunday, episode 17, there was some heavy stuff that came through there. So if you're going through any like type of push and pull with family or religious stuff or any like heavy energies, you may want to go check that out. But also we got some very intense messages from Spirit. Another thing I want to drop right now, whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, but I know that myself and other light workers that I've been talking to recently, we've been having really bad headaches, aches, and pains. It's part of the ascension process, which is also why they're urging us to get out in nature more, walking, just getting exercise, eating good foods, taking good care of yourself. And during these kind of harder, more arduous times, eclipse season, when this is happening, and we're in an impending full moon and over a full lunar eclipse, right? It's like, you don't want to say that, but at the same time, you feel it, right? Like, if you're watching this in real time, like, we feel it. It's no joke. It's fucking heavy. It's real. So this is why they wanted to bring these readings in. I even said, I'm like, how do you want me to word this? Because I felt like each reading was like, I feel like there's multiple readings in each reading, and there's 3 readings, but they all have kind of like a different type of like point of view, or like, I don't know how to explain it, like a different trail, a different path. But at the same time, it's all about the sacred shadow. It's all about the eclipse energy. It's all about just the intense energy and the building of the collective, and how they're really pushing for us to take super good care of ourselves. Okay, so let's dive into your cards. I'm hearing the front one first, so I'm just going to leave this one here. Let's see what we got. Oh, trust and faith. Yes, this is a tough one right now. This is a tough one, especially for the light workers, because a lot of us are like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, we knew you said it wasn't going to be easy, right? Like, what's that one Pink song where she says, I knew it wasn't gonna be easy, but like, fuck, like, basically is what she's saying in this song. She's like, I think it's that. Oh gosh, what is it? Something in all over and over again. Something like, we used to die for each other. And I feel like this is like an overall for the collective. This isn't even about relationships. This is about, like, when did humanity get so ugly and gross that we just keep looking the other way, that these wars are happening, and we're just like, oh, not my war, not my problem, and America's like, oh, well, we're helping here and we're helping there. But it's like, nobody really wants to end these wars except for the, people who are like, hey, you don't see any of these bigwig people out there putting their kids on the front line, right? And so it's just different. There's a lot of interesting energy. If you've been feeling a lot of heavy Egyptian energy, you may want to check out reading 1, because that came up as well. I just saw the Ankh again in my third eye, so I feel like that's for somebody. Also, I'm feeling like this really extreme back pain out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm hearing stretching, yoga, qigong. Like, you know what? This is the time for us to just really work on ourselves in real time. Since it is September 2nd, we started doing self-care September a long time ago, and I haven't really done it for a while, but I feel like it's something that we all really need, is to take some deep breaths, take care of ourselves, because when we are in light, when we are good, then we're super helpful to others. But if we're in the fucking crazy, on the hamster wheel, and we're not trusting, and we're not having faith, and we're like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? Spirit's like, you're in shadow, because look, the light's behind you. The light's behind you. All you need to do is turn around. All you have to do is say, I need some help. I can't do this by myself. They're here to help us. Call in all of your angels and your archangels to help you right now. Trust and faith is all we got. Right? If that, then what? So let's see what the other card is. Oh, it's upside down. Ooh, farm. So this could be interesting. It was upside down too. So it could be maybe for some of you, you bought into like a farm. Maybe it's not, bringing you what you need. Maybe it's something from a past life. I mean, there's horses there. There could be a lot of different animals. For me, I'm going to take the symbolism of it because we are in the year of the snake. We're in transformation. We're in this, like, we have to trust. We have to have faith. It's not negotiable. And I feel like they're having me even cover this up because they're like, it's just trust and faith. That's it. You got this. Because in farming, what do? They plant the seeds, they plant the seeds, they plant the seeds, but they don't like stand over the seeds in terror, praying that they grow, praying that they get enough water. You know what I mean? Like, they do the best they can. They pray, you know, to spirit, to the gods, right? Please and thank you for bringing me water. My heart chakra feels like somebody just like is trying to like bust through it. I feel like, you remember in the original Alien movie where the alien pops out of their chest? Like, I feel like that right now. Oh, drink some water. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love you so much. I'm feeling a unicorn energy too. Even though the horse is there, you have to remember that, you know, horses are from the unicorn family. There's unicorns here in secret. There are angels here. You are an angel. You are a light worker. And if you don't identify with being an angel, then you're a light worker of some kind. And you have to have trust and faith. So call on the angels that you work with. You know, some people are light workers, but they're not actually like earth angels. They work closely with the angels. The angels, you know, help implement like things for them to do, say, you know, so that it's in the greatest and highest good of all. But next year, after we are done with the rebirthing and shedding our skin of the snake, it'll be the year of the horse, which is about freedom. And speaking of which, a lot of witches are terrified, right? There's a lot of things that have happened in folklore. I'm hearing like for some of you, you could have even been like where one of your life lessons was to hate witches. I just watched that movie. How I've never seen it, I mean, I could tell you a gazillion reasons why, and it's been, I always found it interesting and always knew I'd watch it eventually. But I finally watched that movie that Raoul Dahl, I think that's his name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. His, The Witches, it's like based on a book, and then they did a movie about it with Anne Hathaway. And I mean, a lot of huge people were in that, but Anne Hathaway was like the main, like, mean witch, the head of the witches, but they made them like so scary, and they were demons. They said witches are just demons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was getting really upset watching it because I'm like, this is not the fucking truth. And you know, ha ha ha, it's just a kid's tale, no big deal. It is a big deal. It's a big deal. You know, even if you were the most powerful witch, if you could have had people who came and burned your crops because, you know, witch. I mean, I'm just feeling like there's something, even this, like, look at the way, like, their hand is up, like, like they're like chanting. There's some dark energy. And I feel like for this, whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, but in real time, we are just, what is today? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we're like 5 days away from the full moon lunar eclipse, the full moon in Pisces, and the end of that cycle until we start with the full moon in Aries. So we also have, you know, this whole month of September is really super intense with the eclipse energy, dark moons, you know, I mean, it's just, there's just a lot of things that are hanging heavy, you know, planets in retrograde. So we are being tested, and it fucking sucks. I am too. I'm going through it as well. That's, you know, I spoke about it on episode 17. I mean, I was like losing my shit. Southside Chicago Kelly was like, you know, I thought I was going to have to step off and cut a bitch. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, why are these like naysayers and like holy rollers being called to my channel? But I realized because Spirit is showing me how I can handle things, you know, having people come on. And it was really funny too, because one of our tribe members, one of our all-stars, Jessica, was like, she said something like, it's just so creepy when they come at you like that. I'm like, it is, when they're like, repent, Jesus, you know. It's like, where does that come from? You know, like, where is that, like, no accountability? Like, you know, Jesus will save you. You know, what about saving yourself? So I'm hearing from Spirit, you know, maybe in this shadow energy, in this eclipse season, and whenever you watch this, whatever you're going through, this could be that, you know, it could be ego, it could be shadow, it could be childhood trauma. It's going to be different for all of you. But whatever, like, came up for you when you saw these cards, let me ask Spirit, do we want to pull any more cards or read from the book at all for this reading? Okay. Do we want to do any more channeling before we move forward? Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to see what comes through. Okay, so the door is open for reading 2, Spirit. With grace and gratitude, we welcome you in. Do we have any more messages? Any more extended messages? Ooh, okay, so I have somebody who, I just heard a really icky, not nice voice say, well, if you'd shut your yapper, if you'd shut your, ooh, my throat chakra is getting tight. If you would be quiet, you know, I could think, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like some of you in reading 2, you either in this lifetime, or maybe it's through your lineage, it could be a great grandparent, you know, that spoke to your family a certain way, that, like, and it took on a life of its own. I'm seeing like this snowball going downhill, like that, you know, you didn't even need violence in your house, man. There was enough of this, of the verbal abuse, and this is your fault kind of energy. Oh my gosh, I am sending you so much loving, healing energy right now. Thank you, Spirit. I call upon the healing energies. I apologize for that. I call upon the healing energies of the universe. I call upon the spirit guides, the healing guides. We ask reading 2 and their higher self to accept this healing energy. It's time to open that door, honeys. Like, I'm feeling this really, like, grandma, like there's like a grandma in the kitchen, like she's stirring something, and like, so somebody had a grandma, or like, I'm feeling that kind of energy. I just felt there's a warm tap on my shoulder. So that's coming through from some loved, passed on loved ones. But I'm seeing this grandma. She's just, you know, she's got, she kind of feels like Mrs. Claus, like her hair's in a bun on her head and she's got like little spectacles on. I think they're her reading glasses though. I feel like she wears them on a chain around her neck, but I just see her like stirring like the old way with like a wooden spoon in a bowl. And you liked to cook with her or bake with her because she always gave you like pearls. Like, she was like from the school of hard knocks. She gave it to you rough. But I'm hearing, and I know that sounds really fucked up the way that came out, but you know what I'm saying. Get your minds out of the gutter, and if they're there, I'm sorry, because right then, even that, somebody put that there. There are just so many roots that go so deep in all of our psyche, you guys. And every time these really dark, heavy eclipse energies, these seasons come in, they're there to have us look and face at the most ugly things that we don't want to see. So I'm hearing for some of you, it just would be really wise to, like, you know, don't let things fester. But I'm hearing, like, allow yourself to take in the energy around you, whether it's at work, you know, every arena in your life. Take note. Be a little more softer. If you're in the September, when you watch this, we're in Self-Care September 2025. Like I said, it's September 2nd. They're having me refrain while you accept this healing. And for those of you who are fighting it, it's okay. You're going to have to open that door eventually. If not through this cycle, then the next one. But you're going to stay on that fucking hamster wheel until you finally break free. And it may not be in the way you think. It may not be in the way it looks, okay? So keep your mind, your heart, and your soul open. I just got an epiphany for myself. I hope you guys did too. All right, so we're taking away, we're wiping away. There's wind outside. It's blowing away that dark energy, that unwanted energy. Release, relax, let go. Release, relax, let go. Release, relax, let go. There's an Aunt Tamara and Uncle Steve. I heard Toby or Tobias. I got the chills on that one. And remember, these could be people, they could be animals, they could be ancestors. Sometimes you may not recognize them. That happens sometimes. I'll hear from somebody and they'll be like, yeah, I asked my mom at Christmas if we had an Uncle Steve, and she's like, oh, my dad had a brother, Steve, when he was little. He died. They don't really talk about him because he died. You know, like that kind of thing. I feel like whoever this is for, this is like a guardian angel that's looking out for you. And I'm hearing the past life trauma for some of you guys, it was in this life, it was in your childhood. A lot of heavy stuff happened, things that no child should have to see or witness. Remember, we spoke about this, I don't know if it was in reading 1 or the beginning of this one, that, you know, just because people get older does not mean that they mature or that they age in, you know, the fashion that we wish that they would, you know, in terms of accountability and repetitive patterns. It's hard to watch when people don't change or grow or evolve and they just stay in that stagnant pattern. You know what? It's not yours to hold on to. It's not yours to deflate or, you know, and if they're going to deflect, they're going to deflect. That's what they're going through. And honestly, it has nothing to do with you. And I know that's hard to hear. And I know that sometimes it's easy for us to, you know, but the truth is, just take care of yourself right now in the highest light and the highest vibration. Meditate in the morning and at night as much as possible through this shadow energy. And again, whenever you watch this, at least for the next, you know, month straight, even if it's just a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes at night, preferably all through the day, just take little breaks here and there just to meditate, breathe, step away from social media, step away from people, groups, chaos. This kind of energy is always chaotic when we're going, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. You know, both hemispheres are going through change, right? Because obviously the Southern Hemisphere is going to be going from winter to spring. But for the Northern Hemisphere, we're going from summer to fall. And the transitional with school and, you know, everything, the weather, the foods, everything. We're going into the holiday season, which is really fun, but there's also a lot of heavy stuff out there. So they're saying just breathe, take a breather, take self-care September to really focus on yourself, work on yourself, take it in, breathe it out, take it in, breathe it out. Get it all out, work all that energy out. Okay. Have trust and faith. I saw the number 43, but the numbers next to it felt like they were going so fast. But 43 is also the number 7, and 7 is about cycles and stages. You know, we use the number 7 for a lot of things, for cycles. And this is just another cycle. This is just another phase. We're going to be coming down off the summer energy, coming down off the winter energy. It's going to be different for everybody. This is when we go into warrior mode. The strongest warriors are the ones that go quiet so that they can replenish their energy in all facets, so that they can go back in and fight when the other people need to go back in. You know what I mean? We take turns. We take care of each other. Believe in your angels, believe in yourself, believe that there is a future. And for some of you, maybe you want a farm. Spirit's like, well, then believe in it. we're going to be going back into more of the farming culture because we're seeing that the industrialized revolution isn't working for a lot of people. We can still have these 44, 49, by the way. We can still have these industrialized energies, you know, things that are like old school. And then we can also have like the modern technologies, the future, you know, we're here to implement. That's the whole point why they were given to us as gifts, to implement them into now. It's about teaching us how to integrate the energies of the shadow and the light, not push them aside, not say, oh, I'm only a light worker. Oh, you know, I was upset when I saw that witches movie, but maybe that's the way somebody sees it. Maybe that's the way they only ever saw it. Maybe they never met a white witch. Maybe they only know them as demons. But for some of us as earth angels, we're white witches. We're like, yeah, no, we're the antithesis of that dark witch energy. We're here to bring light, you know, and to love the shadow, to embrace it. You know, in the right context, maybe we could have got those witches to love themselves and use their energy for good instead of trying to kill and destroy and eat children. You know, I was like, what fucking kind of fucked up story is this? What message does this send kids? Right? That all witches are evil. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's so interesting. But it's just from the lens and the scope of somebody else and the way they see it and the way they interpret it. It's not wrong. It's just the way that they're interpreting that story and that energy. But we're here to tell them that there's both sides to every story. Be the light you want to see in the world. And when you need to turn to the shadow, like this angel is, then, you know, look towards maybe the farm and the freedom horse is, you know, your future. To have the freedom. Look at the farm and the horse as a form of freedom. You're going towards your freedom, but you've got to get through that shadow, and Spirit's got your back. They're showing you in the trust and faith card. They got your back. But how the hell are they going to believe in you if you can't believe in yourself? You know? Oh, I just got my own download there. Oh, RuPaul, we love you, we love you, we love you, right? If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading too? Okay, I think you got them. And if you're drawn to any of the other... Let's calm it down. If you are drawn to any of the other readings, feel free to click on them in the description box below. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to contribute to any of the work on this channel, all of my information is in the description box and on this channel. And, you know, make sure that you click on the subscribe next to my name, the Magical Medium, so that you don't miss a reading. Make sure that you click on the bell, because the more we do that, we build the algorithms. Our tribe is getting stronger and stronger, you guys. We're getting stronger and stronger every day. You have to have the belief. If you don't believe in anything, at least believe in me, that no matter how hard it gets, I still fucking get up every day and I put my best foot forward to fight for you. So I will fight for you just as you fight for me when we cannot fight for ourselves. And look at those, look at that little rainbow coming in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hold on. Hold on. I feel like Spirit wants you to see this. Do you see it? Do you see the sparkles coming in? Believe in magic and miracles, because they sure as hell believe in you. They wouldn't have put you on this mission, on this path, if they didn't think you can do it. I believe in you. Spirit believes in you. It's time to believe in yourself. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Spirit loves you. We'll see you then. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh my gosh, like right out the gate, I just felt this very like, oh, I wish I can replicate it. I wish I could sing what I was hearing in my head, but it was like hearing one of the most beautiful monk chants I've ever heard. It was really intense, and I feel like for some of you, something really barbaric happened. I have the chills all over my body. I feel like what's holding you back and what spirit wants you to work through, this shadow energy. I haven't seen your cards. Um, this is really intense. I'm like, I want to flip over the cards so bad because I'm like, it's like, because I want to see if this is like matching up with what I'm feeling. Well, because I got Egypt in reading 1, and then in reading 2, the Ankh came through again. So I was like, hey, if you were called to reading 1, you might want to go over there. So of course my energy right now is like, I'm wondering if it's something, like that. And ironically enough, we didn't pull the Egyptian card, which we do have. The Egypt card is in this deck. But for you guys, I just felt this very monk, like the way the candles and the stones and the crystals wanted to come in. But I feel like you could have been somewhere, maybe this is just one of you, but at least I feel like, I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute and start channeling, because I just want to see where this is going, because I'm hearing this like, oh, but it's like, I can't even, you know what I mean? It's so beautiful. I mean, I've been a part of something like this before. When I was in a room, I was in a temple with about 200 people, and we were all holding hands, and everybody was, chanting Om. But there was like a pattern to it that they started us out with, and we kept going with it. And it just was like, it was so transcendent. I felt like my body floating to the ceiling, So I kind of feel like that's the energy that's coming through. But then I also, listen to that. Look at that, you guys. I just opened my eyes and saw the flames going. Oh my gosh, this gust of wind just came through. So I feel like there might have been something that tragically happened to at least one of you, because I'm feeling and hearing and seeing like this very beautiful place, and these monks are singing like they're chanting. It's not Om though. It's like that's what I'm saying though. It doesn't feel like Tibetan monks. It feels more like, the old school, like the Druid monks or something, something like that. It just feels really, it feels, I don't know, whimsical maybe. I don't know how to explain it really, but there's something with it. And I feel like one of you was living this very peaceful, spiritual life, and I feel like you wouldn't comply with what the wrongdoings of the politics and the churches were doing. And so I feel like they kind of came through and hurt you guys bad. And so I feel like there's at least one person holding on to that. So which door is calling to you? Even though we had this kind of practice in the other readings, this is like, what message do you need to hear? In real time, it's September 2nd, 2025, but they're always timeless. But in real time, we are approaching the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And the shadow energy of the eclipse season, as you can see, is like no fucking joke. And it's not playing around, and it's very real. And I feel like Spirit is trying to talk to us, and they want you to face whatever it is you need to face. Now, maybe you have something behind both doors. When I did each reading, I felt like they were readings within readings kind of thing. Sometimes it's only like one small message is your message. And I apologize, it's the end of Labor Day weekend, but the weather here is still, nice. I live in a touristy area. Anyway, so are you pulled to, this one, is this door calling to you? Because if it is, then, that just like went back. So I feel like maybe we'll go to that one second. Or are you drawn to this door? And since that one kind of went back, I feel like we're going to start with this one, okay? Angels. Oh my gosh, you guys. Reading 2 was about, it had one of the cards that was in there was literally an angel. And it was about trust and faith. So if you're having a hard time believing in, it's like when something horrific happens, and people are like, I'm turning my back on God. What God would do this to children? What God would, blah, blah, blah. But we have to remember that that's the whole point, is like, we can't get too wrapped up in the narrative. You know, it looks really ugly on the outside. It looks really messed up and fucked up, and yeah. And there are going to be people in your life that you are going to have to stop talking to, that you are going to have to leave behind. You are going to have to. You're going to have to. Does that even make sense? You know, if you say something over and over, it's like you're speaking another language. Because I feel like we're kind of going back in time right now. Because, you know, if you found yourself to this reading, you're most likely an earth angel, or at the very least, you're a light worker. So, you know, call on the angels, ask them for help, light a candle to light the way. Say, I cannot do this by myself. Thank you so much for, you know, believing in me and trusting in me, but I need a break right now. That seems to be a theme that's coming through for a lot of people. We need to, right now, when the shadow is so dense, this is when they need our light the most. And a lot of light workers are falling apart. I myself included. I had a major fucking meltdown last weekend, like really bad. First on Saturday, when I was so blessed that I just got this vibe from Spirit to, you know, reach out to one of our tribe members. And I was blessed enough to be able to bend their ear for a while, because I was like, dude, I'm like going down a really fucking deep hole right now. I'm not even sure what's going on. And then the next day, when we did Sacred Sunday, episode 17, so much shit was like coming through, and I felt it. And now I've been realizing every day, I'm like, dum, 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 Wonder Woman. And I've got my cuffs, and I'm realizing like, okay, I need to get stronger. I need to get more grounded. So the main message I'm getting from Spirit is meditation and working with our angels and calling them in to help us. And you could even have something that happened in a past life where you asked the angels for help and they didn't help you. So maybe you've got some toxicity from another lifetime or through your lineage, because you're angry because they didn't respond. But you have to remember that everybody plays a part and has a purpose, and just because you want it to be a certain way does not mean that's the way it is. So take a sip of water before we go down the other doorway. And I'm actually gonna ring some bells, so I'm going to clean up the energy. It's really heavy. I know. It's really heavy. Release and let it go. Deep breaths in, full pushes out. Because you're pushing that energy out of you back into the... And when you're pushing it out, picture it going back into the ether, back into the light, back into love. No matter who has wronged you, did you wrong, fucked you over, you know, whatever, remember that they are also having a human experience and they're a light being. So some people are going to stay the way they are and they're not going to change in this lifetime. Some people are meant to stay around and help them through it. Some people are not. I mean, it's just literally different for every story. So if you're trying to look at another story or trying to compare yourself, or, you know, I notice like certain readings, if I'm drawn to like watch readings, it's like I can feel the breadcrumbs from Spirit, because sometimes it'll fuck me up because I'll watch a reading and I'll be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then like a few days later, or sometimes even a few hours later, I'm drawn to look at another reading. And a lot of times it could be people I've never even heard of too. And it's like, what? Different perspective. And then they'll say the polar opposite, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm so confused. And then I'll watch, you know, and it feels like you're on a roller coaster, but the whole point is for you to get the breadcrumbs and get a little bit from each story, because these are mass readings for everybody. It's not just about your story. There's only so many words and thoughts that can come into the reader's mind as a medium, right? I know it, I do it myself. So we have to keep that in mind, that your story is not my story and your story is not someone else's story, and it's going to be different for all of us. But the angels are here to help us. And if they didn't help you in this life or another life, you have to have faith and know that, number one, it could be on you. Maybe you're not taking accountability because you didn't ask. And we all know that the angels are not allowed to interfere unless it's something that was like in a soul contract. But if you break and cut ties with all of your soul contracts, and then you're out wailing in the wind and you're not sure what the fuck's going on, then you need to renegotiate and talk to Spirit and say, okay, where am I most needed now? What is most needed now in my growth process? What do I need to release and let go of? Especially with this impending full moon, we're getting a full lunar eclipse. Oh my gosh, there are these birds that are all surrounding the trees right now. I love it. I forget the name of the bird. It's those blackbirds. I think it's a blackbird, but it's the one that has like the orange and the yellow on it too. I thought it was the swallows, but I think that they've gone now. Anywho, maybe you're meant to work with some bird spirit medicine. Maybe this is a wink wink for you because you weren't sure if this is your story. And don't try and force something to be your story just because you're drawn to it. You know what I mean? Maybe you're drawn to that number for, you know, there could be in a half an hour reading, there could be one sentence that will like change the fucking script for you. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you make the whole reading your story. Because I feel like some of you, instead of like getting tight with spirit, getting quiet and meditating, you're like outsourcing. It's like you're outsourcing the problem. You know what I mean? Instead of going through it yourself with spirit and trying to get to the bottom of it, you're outsourcing it and not taking the accountability that you need to help yourself. Okay, so we're going to leave that there and we're going to go to this door. If you chose this door, phobias. Wow. This makes sense because I'm actually feeling that kind of energy like, oh my gosh, like, but if I do this way, then what's going to happen? Oh no, I shouldn't do it this way. It's like, stop concerning yourself. A lot of these phobias, this came up in reading 1 and reading 2 if you were drawn to them. You know, this is old programming, especially for the witches and the healers and the deep down believers in magic, the light workers. We have been burned, persecuted. It's happening right now. It's happening everywhere. I mean, I was saying to someone today, I'm really trying not to get political, but at the same time, when people start to like, you know, I'm like trying to help them to understand like what's happening on the planet. I'm like, you have to remember though, I'm like, look at all of like the crazy things that are happening right in front of us right now. I'm like, somebody I just noticed recently, this witch, she is a witch and she's a practicing witch and she has a channel and she's been getting really political. I don't know her name. But she's the one that tracked down, I think she said there's about 16 people that are connected to the Epstein files that are all dead and have all died within a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? And they're like, isn't that interesting that all these people, and now it's like, because I was like, yeah, how funny. I'm like, I just saw something about Rudy Giuliani, like something's wrong with him now or something happened to him now. And I was like, yeah. But at the end, remember that karma never forgets an address. So they can keep doing this and killing people off and whatever. But these people were involved too. So, you know, it's like what goes around comes around. So some of you may be feeling the phobias because maybe in different lifetimes, you or your ancestors may have put some bad juju out into the world. And maybe you do have certain things that are happening. But they're saying, if you feel like that karma is complete, then you need to shut that door, shut that window, stop looking through it, stop looking at it to, you know, maybe it's closed and you don't want to open it because you don't want to go down. But they're saying the best way to cure a quote unquote phobia is to face it head on. That is the very best advice I can give you, is to face it head on. And you could be carrying something that's from your family. It could be something from your parents. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of heights. I am aware that my avatar is fragile and at a certain height, it's not going to make it if it falls from a high, you know what I mean? But at the same time, would I be screaming all the way down if I would probably I'd probably close my eyes and talk to the angels and be like, if I'm meant to be saved, I'll be saved. If not, then, whatever. But there are some people who would scream all the way down, but it's like, so you're screaming all the way down to your death. Most likely you're not going to be saved. So like, how do you want to go? It's kind of like, that's what's happening right now. All this dark shit is going to happen. It has to happen. All this karma, all these things they're surfacing and resurfacing from a lot of dark shit that all of us are connected. You know what I mean? Like, we can hate all these big baddies of the world, but somewhere in their lineage, there was good people too. Not everybody decided to, drink me and go down the rabbit hole. It's like everybody takes their own path. In fact, that's the whole point of it, is for us to take our own path. And Spirit's saying, you get to decide what fear-based energies control your life. And if you have something that is controlling your life, control itself, then this is the time for you to face it and just go with the flow and be like, well, whatever happens, happens. Let's spin the wheel. you know, and, you know, it's like, but at the same time, you do have to take accountability for your own joy and happiness. You can't bitch and complain about where you are, who you're with, or what's happening, and not taking any, you know, strides to make changes. And this is where the angels come in. That's when you call on the angels, right? Look at, she's praying. She's praying. Instead of letting the phobias overtake her, she's going to pray to the angels and say, angels, thank you for taking, you know, thank you, Archangel Michael, for taking this fear-based energy away from me and my lineage and my family. I am the lineage breaker. I am the ancestor to break this. No more fear. No fear. No fear. Only love. Love-based energy. We open our heart chakras. We ask you to protect us, Archangel Michael, with your mighty sword. Archangel of the South of fire. Thank you for burning away all those phobias and those energies and entities that no longer serve us. Thank you for cutting away any binds or ties that we have to any past lives that no longer serve us in this life and moving forward. We ask the angels of all realms of the earth, as above, so below, north, south, east, and west, and all around, whatever is in our each individual greatest and highest good spirit, that's what I claim for us. And you can say whatever you want to say. I'm just kind of like winging it, but you know, and so it is, and so it shall be. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? I'm hearing more bells. And do the smudging, do the burnings, do those things, you know, like that makes a difference. It does make a difference. Spirit is saying, like, it's good to have that energy, to release it. And I'm sure we'll do more things as we get closer to this full moon energy. As we get closer. I'm going to do it this way. And again, whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But as we move closer to this full moon, this full lunar eclipse, we're going to be releasing more, facing more, acknowledging more. And I'm hearing no more running away. It's time to face things. You're giving the phobia life. You're giving your fear life. Instead of trusting in yourself and trusting in spirit. You know, I was wondering if this, I kept feeling like there was going to be one more card for somebody, but let me see. Do I want to pull one more card from this deck? Oh, you guys, it was the only one sticking out. The rest of them were like this. See that? Oh my gosh, I don't remember if I said I'm reading 1 or reading 2, but I heard, call on the wisdom of the unicorns. They will help you with the phobias. It's just old programming meant to keep you in control, you and your people. You know, this came up in reading 1, right? Like this lack mentality, especially if you were in an energy field where your wisdom was, you know, not something to be revered. It was something to be feared. You may have had to play stupid. Like I'm hearing like, yes, massa, like this kind of, you know, like that old school, the way that they had to speak, you know, in the slavery times in, you know, the southern states, that was it. You weren't allowed to call them by their name or sir or Mr. or maybe Mr. But, you know, they were saying, yes, master, but they never said master. And you have to remember that they tried to like post slaves as like being illiterate and stupid, and they come from the Congo and the jungles and they don't know anything. But you know, little did they realize like that they had voodoo and you know, and all these other like very deep spiritual faiths connected to spirit. So a lot of times they played very stupid, you know, and they wanted to seem more uneducated, because the more uneducated they appeared to be, the more that they, you know, oh, they're stupid. They're just my dumb slave. They don't know anything. And they also knew the power of words. Drink some water. I'm hearing that from spirit. Oh, throat chakra. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the power of words. Because they never really said, yes, master. They said massa. A lot of people would say, oh, that's the way they spoke and they were ignorant. It's like, were they though? Who came up with that? When did that come up? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things in history that have been kept back. And I don't know why that came in, but I feel like that's for somebody to know and understand. And maybe you come from that. You know, maybe you have something like that in your lineage. It's, my friend said to me recently, you know, they're like, I never thought that, because they were an addict and they went through rehab and everything. And they're like, I never thought that hearing what did he call it? The drunk man's prayer or something. But, you know what they call it, I think it's from the Bible, where it's about the wisdom to know the difference. I don't remember the whole thing, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I feel like that's what Spirit's saying. You know better. Now it's about implementing your wisdom and allowing your third dimensional, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Phobias. It's like, it's about saying, nope, we don't have this energy. We're not in this, oh, please let it happen. Please. We know it's going to happen. We're in the wisdom of it because we trust in Spirit. We trust in the angels. We know that they have our back. But in what is that saying? This in here lies the difference or whatever, right? Because knowing it but implementing it are two different things. So when that starts to come in, that phobia energy, I think we spoke about this in reading 2. And also in reading 1, we spoke about like the lack and like, am I going to be able to eat? Am I going to be able to have a roof over my, I mean, it's interesting that like with all of these shadows, because now this is the third and final reading, all of them, the underlying message was the same, is the shadow energy is just coming for all of us, each individually. But the difference is how we're going to either work with it, approach it, see it for what it is and work with it and move forward and bring ourselves back up to the light, or are we going to let it eat us alive? And I know for myself, it was eating me alive because the energy around here has been so intense, and where I live and everything, and having to keep the windows open, you hear like the traffic. I mean, it's just been like over fucking whelming. So now I realize I'm like, I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my future. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your future. What story are you telling yourself? What script are you reenacting and living over and over and over again? Okay, no more. Oh my gosh, you guys. The crystal ball was just upside down. I don't think I've ever seen it upside down like that, but because it was, I feel like I'm going to put that there. What do you see? And what do you feel? Most importantly, what do you feel? When I looked up, I saw 1, 12, 19, but I didn't even see the 1. I just saw the 12, 19, so that might be an angel number you want to work with, 12, 19. Ooh, which is the number 13, I believe, which is also about getting our foundation strong, no matter what. That's what I was feeling, is the divine feminine. See that white energy? Push back at the shadow, push back at the phobias. See how the unicorns, their horn is fucking sharp. They don't want to hurt anybody, but if they have to, they'll do what they have to do. They don't want to. That's always the last line of defense, right? But I'm hearing from Spirit, like, this isn't like save yourself, fuck everybody else. It's like, no, you need to save yourself so that you can save everybody else. It's an inside job. Happiness is an inside job. All of it is an inside job, I'm hearing from Spirit. And for some of us, it's about getting past certain phobias. I just heard like maybe it's clowns, maybe it's, you know what I mean? But like facing it and being like, okay, this is it. You guys might know, I did a reference on Jeepers and the Creeper. And you know what? I still haven't, I'm not saying it just because I feel like right now in the shadow energy, I'm just not going to like bring it into my world. But I worked with it, and it was a lot easier to work with when I saw it from a different angle. That's why they're having me move this around, because I had never watched the making of it or anything. I was just so fucking terrified of the energy and the grossness. And I think as an angel, an earth angel, that was like the closest thing I'd seen to a horror movie that felt like a real, like what a demon would do. You know what I mean? Like the way that he treated human beings and like how like play things in such a demonic, dark way, and just breaking angels because he could, you know, or breaking humans because he could, kind of thing. But when I was drawn to watch this little short, it was the making of it, and I was like, oh, and Spirit's like, just watch it, just watch it. And at first it was like them acting and I was like creeped out, but then he was like, cut, and then he stops and you see him like play with the little girl and he's like, are you okay? Was that too scary? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never seen like the actor dressed up as the character like that, you know, just being like their normal like selves. And so it was really interesting, and I feel like that's kind of the behind the curtain stuff they want us to see and look at, instead of the phobia of something, of, you know, one thing that we saw that like rolled into this thing to that thing and snowballed into that thing. You know what I mean? It's about also taking the pressure off ourselves a little bit, you know, taking the pressure off and understanding the wisdom and knowing that the phobia is what made you who you are, but you don't need it anymore. Okay, do we have any more messages to wrap up reading 3? Okay. Do we have any more messages for reading 3, Spirit? Okay, you guys, I hope these helped you in any way. All of my information is on this channel if you want to work with me one-on-one. Don't forget, every Sunday we go live for free for Sacred Sunday at Pacific Standard Time, noon. And if you do want to contribute to anything on this channel, there are ways to do that on this channel as well. Seek it out if you would like to. Other than that, until next time, just continue to take care of yourselves first so that you can take care of others, okay? I love you so much. Spirit loves you, and we'll see you at the next reading. Blessed be. Aho. Bye.